Hello, and thanks for tuning in. I'm Rixie, one of the creators here on the Collector's Maze Network. My guest today is a model, a voice, film, and theater actor. She has a master's in theater performance and went on to teach at the university level. She has tons of film credits, and you can hear her voice in all kinds of video games. Everyone, Katie Otten.
Hello.
Katie, welcome to the maze.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful for your time to sit down and talk with us. I'm interested to hear, more about, you and the acting world and the voice acting world and all that great stuff. Now, as I understand, we're not horribly far apart. Are you still in Omaha?
I'm not. I actually moved to Dallas, Texas about 6 months ago.
So we're a long
yeah,
ways
but I
away
was in
now.
Omaha. Yeah.
You wasn't, so you're in Dallas. Okay, so a little bit of a scenery change for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. So where I want to start, and I like starting with just pretty much everyone, is what was the spark that got young Katie down this performance career?
Well, I would say it really started with video games. My brother's 10 years older than me, and I grew up watching him play JRPGs and like games with really deep, beautiful stories. And I remember thinking even as a child, like, how do I do that for a living? Like, I just love these games so much. And then I was in my first musical in 5th grade, and I stood on the stage, and I just remember thinking, oh, this is how I could do that. Like, if I can play pretend for the rest of my life, then that's the kind of life I want to have. And so, yeah, I just kind of kept doing theater for a long time. And then I got into film and voiceover quite a few years later when I was like working on my degree. And yeah, it's been crazy ever since. But
So video games and what I would assume was that at the middle school level with the theater? Is that where you started, the middle school level?
I was actually in 5th grade.
Fifth
yeah,
grade.
So
Fifth
I was
grade.
10 years old when I made my decision.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
for those who are unfamiliar, explain what is a JRPG? I mean, not
Oh,
everyone
yes.
knows.
A Japanese role-playing game. I'm a huge fan of them. Games like Chrono Trigger and Final Fantasy, and games where you sort of are the main character and you go on this big epic quest to like save the world. And I was just like, oh, that's what I want to do, is go on a magic adventure with my friends. And then I discovered theater, and I was like, that's how I can do that. So
So extended that magic adventure onto the stage.
Yep.
Okay, so want to jump into teaching for a minute. So you are you still teaching, or are you?
Yeah, a little bit. I kind of do it a little more on and off now. I work at kind of various children's theaters and teach after school classes and things like that. But I'm not teaching at the university right now. I did love doing that for a couple years in Omaha, though. That was so special and wonderful. But I'm sure I'll get back to it at some point.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably something you're constantly doing with just anyone and everyone around.
Oh, yeah.
I would imagine. I mean, once a teacher, always a teacher, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So, thinking about that, and what are some of the key concepts for new actors to learn? I mean, what is that? What are those important things for those new actors to grasp hold of?
Yeah, I think definitely doing some improv and learning how to just live in the moment and to like step outside of yourself for a while. I know that for me, one of my greatest struggles when I first started was the idea of making a fool of myself or doing something wrong. Like all of that stopped me in my tracks all the time. And once I learned to just let that go and know that we're always going to be making fools of ourselves, and we kind of do that in daily life all the time, and that it doesn't matter. Like once I learned that, and that there weren't any wrong choices, that made everything so much easier. When I learned to just be in the moment and do whatever felt right and go with the flow. Oh, all of that helped a lot.
So what I'm curious, what was the trigger for for you realizing that, it's okay to look, you're not foolish, it's art, right? I mean,
Yeah. I actually have a story about this because I
great.
I went off to school for acting and I was working on my bachelor's degree, just like focused on acting and nothing else. And then after 2 years of working my butt off, the teachers at this school sat down with me and they were like, you're just not meant to be an actor. And it was like, everything crashed around me and I was like, wait, this is all I've ever wanted. And like, I can't do that. And I knew that there was something I was missing. Like the other actors just sparkled on stage and I was like so scared and nervous and I'm like, what am I doing wrong? And that's when I switched to teaching actually. And when I started teaching, something clicked within me and it was like, oh, we never know what we're doing as teachers. We're always making it up. It's always tough, but like we just do our best and it's going to be okay. And once I got back to acting after that, it was like something just worked. I knew how to suddenly forget about all of it and like know that it was never going to be perfect and that that was okay. We're just doing our best every day. Like, yeah, something just shifted for me. And when you're teaching, you have to be confident, even if you're not. You have to like pretend for the students. And yeah, that changed everything for me.
So would you say that it's more important to be present than be perfect?
Yeah, absolutely. You're never going to be perfect. Nothing's ever perfect. And that's kind of the beauty of it.
Then it wouldn't be a real representation of life, right? I mean, because life is not perfect. And that's really what we're trying to do, tell stories about life. Well, I mean, unless we're telling the fantasy story, I guess it could be all over the place. So, all right, so being present, I've heard that so many times, and I think that's huge. What, I mean, when you realized that, I mean, what did that really feel like? I mean, was it just you just forgot everything else and you just stopped and listened to the other person?
Well, the two key things, I think, are remembering to have fun, because that's something I actually forgot for a while. Even though I loved acting so much, I had lost the joy in it because I was putting so much pressure on myself. And when you remember that, oh yeah, this is something I love and I really enjoy, that comes through in your performance too. People can sense when you're really having fun. So that was a big part of it. And then, yeah, just listening and reacting in every moment and not knowing what you're going to do next, you know, that's,
Keeps it exciting. And,
because your character doesn't know what's about to come out of their mouth. So,
yeah. So true. I mean, so I think a lot of actors get in the beginning stuck on, what's that next line? That's not, I've got to say that next line. And so really it's not about, I mean, I guess you need to know where you're going, but you need to listen to what's going on and react to it.
Do you do some acting too?
I'm probably been about a year and a half of some short films here and there, here in the Kansas City area. But that's why when I saw the opportunity, I'd love to talk to Katie because she's such a wealth of knowledge, and I've seen. So I don't know who it was that told you acting's not for you. I've watched a few of your shorts and that you're in, and
that's sweet.
I've got to say, your delivery is just so natural. And I'm going to get to one of them that I've got some questions about. It's like, I mean, that had to be so much fun. Yeah. Film versus theater. When you're transitioning, what's and I guess when you're transitioning from theater to film, I mean, what's important to remember when you're making that step?
Yeah. In the end, it's really the same. Like, you're just living in the moment, you're just reacting, you're telling the story. You got to know, in film especially, you really have to know what is your purpose in the story, because you're filming it all out of order. Sometimes you are just a character that's there to help further another character, and like, you got to know what your reason is to be there. But the main difference really is that it's just more subtle. Like, the camera might be as close as I am right now. And like in theater, you would never have that. You got to reach the people way in the back of the room. And with film, it's like, it's got to feel natural. It's got to feel real. So, yeah. Okay.
So more, it's much more personal. You can focus more on, face gestures, things like that, versus having to worry about being as big as the room, essentially.
Well, and the other thing that people never think about is that theater, they say it's the actor's medium, because once the director steps away and the show is open, it's all on the actors. Like, they're going to make it whatever it's going to be every night. They have control over what's seen on stage. But in film, it's really the editor's medium. Like, you might give an amazing take, but they might choose a different one, or they might edit it in a way that changes everything, and you have no control over how the finished thing looks. And so that's another thing that takes a lot of trust as an actor, that they will tell the story in the way it's meant to be, and all you can do is do your best when you're on set. But yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah, so you're essentially just giving the editor the building blocks for whatever story they want to tell, and they may not use every block. or the block that you like the best.
Yeah, it's tough, but it's really magical when it all comes together.
But editing is huge, and you know, as I don't know where you're at in sci-fi, but I mean, if you've watched any of the documentaries on Star Wars and George Lucas, I mean, you know, Marcia, his wife then at the time, made a world of difference in the way that film turned out.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? Oh my gosh.
Yes, I mean, editing is, to me, is crucial. I mean, you need great performances, but a great performance can be ruined in editing or punched up to a whole nother level. So, anime. I know. I mean, you're a big anime fan, right?
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Okay. So I want to take this opportunity. I need. I'm diving into it myself personally.
Look at you.
Okay. I know. I'm trying to stay well-rounded in everything, and so I love Avatar. I think that's considered anime. Avatar, the Last Airbender. So good.
It's American, so it's not technically, but it's in the style of anime for sure. Yeah.
So it I mean, it was never originally done in Korean, right? Because the animation was done in Korea, I think, in Avatar, if I'm right, or if I remember right.
Know.
I think the animation house. I mean, I think it was started. At least the concepts were drawn here, and then all the animation from So I'm on a kick. I buy the DVD sets, and that's how I watch it. And I love all the behind the scenes on the DVD sets. Well, I mean, you know, you learn so much. You can glean so much.
What kind of bender are you? This is the real question.
What kind of bender would I be? Oh, you come up with a good one.
Yeah.
I've not thought about that one too much. I kind of think air because I like the thought of potentially flying. Right?
I love that.
You know, I mean, to be, you know, it's not necessarily the freedom, just, you know, you watch the birds in the sky and watch them just you know, be one with the currents and the wind. And of course, you know, as a bender, you have a little more control over that. So I don't know. Of course, everyone would be like, "No, I want to be the Avatar." I'm like, I don't know.
Right, that's a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure. I don't know. I'm okay being an airbender.
Yeah.
But you know, technically, there's none left. So except for Aang.
Yeah. Right.
Anyway. Okay. So. What I want to know, because I know you've got a pretty good in-depth anime knowledge, is what is your like top 5 recommendation? You know, someone like me comes up and says, "Hey, I really want to know about anime, and I mean, where do I start? What would you tell me to watch?" So, what's your top 5 anime?
I mean, some must-watch, of course, is any Studio Ghibli movie.
Studio Ghibli. Okay, spell that for me.
Ghibli. Okay. And Hayao Miyazaki is like they say he's basically the Walt Disney of Japan. He's been making movies forever, and they're incredible. There's a whole museum, there's a whole theme park in Japan. Like, these are some of the best movies I think ever made. Kiki's Delivery Service is my personal favorite, but there's so many good ones. A Spirited Away actually won an Oscar.
That one's on my list. I've not done that one yet. That one's on my list.
So that's one of his movies. Yeah, they're great.
Okay, so we got...
personal favorite anime of all time is called Fruits Basket, and it's I don't know, it's so beautiful.
Fruits Basket. So would that be number 1 on your list? That's the one that you have to start.
1.
Okay, so
you gotta be ready for some drama, but I love it.
Okay, Fruits Basket. Okay, and then what would be your second? Is Spirited Away there in number 2 or?
Probably, like any Ghibli movie. Let's just lump them all together.
Okay, so any Ghibli movie under number 2, Fruits Basket and Ghibli, and then what else would you throw in there?
Number 3, I'm gonna say probably Demon Slayer because it's really popular right now. It's like the anime everyone's talking about.
Okay.
And it's really good. It has beautiful action, but it also has a lot of drama, and the animation is just like absolutely stunning. Ugh, I don't know, it gives me chills.
I love it. I love that you're so passionate about it. That's why when I Insta stalk to you, I'm like, that's the person I want to talk to about anime.
Yeah,
I
do a bit of
cosplay
too. I love it.
I know, and we're going there. We got to go there. So that's 3. So let's recap. So your top. So this is Katie's top 5 animes to watch for anyone who wants to know about anime. So number 1 was
Fruits Basket.
Yes. Fruits Basket, and then number 2 is going to be, of course, any
Ghibli movie, yeah.
Any Ghibli movie, and then number 3, where are we at?
Demon Slayer.
Okay, and then what are the last 2 you're going to round us out with?
Number 4, I'm gonna say. I mean, I'm just gonna like pick some of my favorites, right?
Well, that's what I want.
Yeah. Okay.
Because I trust your judgment.
Yeah. Number 4, I'm gonna say Cardcaptor Sakura. It's an older one. But I love magical girl animes, as they're called, and this was kind of like one of the first of that genre. Sailor Moon was coming out around the same time. They both kind of set a precedent for that whole genre of anime, and it's so beautiful. It's so like there's something so chill and relaxing about the whole show. Like it's very calming and sweet, and it's beautiful. I don't know.
I'm excited. Okay, so that's number 4, and spell and say that one again.
Cardcaptor Sakura. And she has like a different outfit in every episode, and I just love it.
Wardrobe change.
Yes.
Wardrobe change. Okay, that's cool. Okay, and then number 5, what do we got?
I'd say probably Ouran High School Host Club. It was like one of the first, again, 90s anime, but it had a sort of non-binary main character, and I feel like that was very unusual in media, but especially in anime at the time. So that's super cool.
Love that. Okay, that's a good. Okay, I'm gonna make note of those. After when I'm editing, I'm gonna and start. I know. I mean, Spirited Away's been on my list for a while. And I'm on book 3 of Avatar. So I'm
you're
in the
almost there.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting close. So
yes.
I think Spirited Away is gonna be my next, and then I'll go for a Ghibli for
good.
sure.
And if you ever can see a Ghibli movie in theaters, they always, every year, they like come back into theaters just because, and there's something about them on the big screen that's so magical. So if you can ever do that for anyone out there, just do it. So
okay. Or have you run across any theaters? I mean, they're still doing that a few places?
Yeah. AMC's, they do it like every year. It's called Ghibli Fest, I think. There's one coming up very soon, so definitely check that out. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Ghibli Fest. All right. So I know here in Kansas City we got Planet Anime coming up, which is a spin-off of Planet Comic-Con. I'm sure you're familiar with Planet
Comic-Con. That's so cool.
Oh, I love
Planet Kansas City. It's such a cool city.
It is a great city.
Did you grow up there too?
Yeah. I've been in. So I'm in a suburb of Kansas City, probably about 20 miles east. I've been here, a long time. Oh my
gosh!
I've grown up here, but I love being near the city because we get all the benefits of a big, fairly decent sized city, but yet we still have rural areas that
and you can afford to live there, unlike some big cities. Yeah. That's
Although
awesome.
I would live downtown if I could.
Yeah.
My wife doesn't want to live downtown.
Oh yeah.
I want to live on the river because the rivers. It's really they're really developing down there, and it's nice and it's a fun area.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. So that's. Are all those animes? Are those all? Are you listening to those? Those are Japanese animes, all those, or?
You can listen to them in Japanese or English for sure, and the dubs are beautiful and wonderful. It's really just your preference, and I don't know.
What do you listen? I mean, do you? So am I getting the terms right? You have sub, which is subtitles, right?
Yeah.
And then dub. Which do you prefer?
It really depends on the show. There's some shows that I just really like in the original Japanese, and then there's some that I really like in English. So it kind of depends, and it depends maybe how I watched it as a child too. It's tough. Yeah.
So do you speak Japanese? I mean, so you really
no. I
okay.
wish.
So you're getting it. You're getting the story from the animation. So really, they're doing an excellent job of acting, if you will, through the characters.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
I think I'm gonna try the original to begin with to see.
Awesome.
I'm sure. I wonder if they come in like a box set where you can get the original and the dub together.
They usually have like just a setting you can change.
Oh, so it's all within the
kind of like
the
Netflix
same...
or something. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. Well, let's jump over to video games for a second.
Yeah.
I know. So you not only do you voice several games, but you. I mean, as you you're a big gamer. What? And you said the JRPG, right? Did I get that right? So Japanese role-playing games. Now, are those? I mean, those are still being made. Those are still current. I mean, so it's not like you wouldn't consider that retro. Okay.
There's a lot of retro games that will forever be my favorite games, like no matter what else happens. But there's some new ones that are really, really good too. I just happen to like old school style games.
Yeah,
but...
yeah. Well, what do you consider? I'm curious what your old school games are. What do you like old school?
Oh, probably Chrono Trigger is like one of my number one games, and that was for the Super Nintendo originally. So.
Oh, Chrono Trigger.
Yeah.
I played a lot of Super Nintendo. So I don't.
Awesome.
Chrono Trigger. What's that one about? Tell me about it.
It's all about time travel and like what you do in one time like period affects what happens in the other ones. And what's cool is you can like go and fight the final boss at any point in the game. It's just you're probably not ready until towards the end, but you can go. Like it's just you have to jump to that time period and he's like ready to fight you, you know. And so it was the first game that had a bunch of different endings because depending when you defeat him changes the endings because there's certain things you haven't done yet or and there's different choices you can make in the game. It's so cool. I love it.
Oh, nice. Okay, so, and what's that called again? That's
Chrono Trigger.
Chrono Trigger. Okay, I'm going to have to look for that. Retro gaming is really, it is making a pretty big comeback. I mean, a lot of people are into retro game. There was a con just last weekend here, and it was in Overland Park, so a suburb of Kansas City, and it was a retro con all about, retro gaming.
That's so cool.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah. So,
oh man,
and you could find just about every console you could imagine, and then some I'd never seen before. I'm like, what is this console? And so
that's crazy.
I'd gotten rid of all my Nintendos and PS2s. I'm like, I'm kicking myself now. What are the new games you're playing?
I really like the Legend of Heroes series. It has probably 10 different games in it now, but I've played pretty much all of them. And I just finished Trails into Reverie, which is kind of like the newest one. And now I think there's even one more that I haven't even started yet. But I love them. The stories are all connected. They follow kind of different characters in different parts of the world, but they all like meet each other and their stories all interconnect. And it's just beautiful storytelling. I love it.
Okay. And is that so... is that a Japanese game as well?
Yep.
A Japanese RPG?
Yeah, and they dubbed it over into English and all that.
Oh, okay. So that game, okay, all right. And
it's really cool.
It feels like that's like a choose your own adventure book, but it's a video game, so you're choosing the path and the outcome of the story. Now, do you play online with other people on that then? Or?
No, I've never really played a lot of online games, but I know there's a lot of good
game,
ones.
You follow the story yourself.
I'm a solo gamer. Yep. I'm like, I just want to focus on the story
and get through the story.
Yeah.
Well, and that's what I could see the fun and the draw to that. I mean, because it is a story that you get to be a part of. Now, the games that you voice. I mean, do you go through and play? You got to play the games that you voice in, right?
Yeah. I mean, I always do. There's some I haven't been able to beat though, so I'm like, well,
really?
Yeah, there's some tough ones, but I always try my best.
Well, yeah. There's a few. I remember a few games that I've made it to the end. I'm not a giant gamer, but I enjoy playing some. My favorite, I enjoy on the retro world. I love like Spy Hunter and things like that. I went down an Animal Crossing thing, and oh my gosh, no. I had to put it down. That's
my fear. That's why I've never picked it up because I'm like, I think I'd like it too much.
I had to put it down. So what? The game that you voice that you play. I mean, do you play one that you voice in regular or?
Just when they come out, I'll like at least try them out and get as far as I can. But there's nothing like right now that I can think of.
Yeah.
There's a few I'm waiting to come out. So.
Well, I would think that would be cool playing along and like, look, that's me.
Yeah,
I hear myself.
At first, it was kind of tough. I was like, oh, and I was like, hearing my own voice was very strange because I was so used to theater. But now it's like, doesn't even faze me anymore.
Doesn't faze you now. There's enough of it out there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I was going to ask you. I mean, did that the first time was that weird or was that
Yeah, and the first time seeing myself on film, I was like, oh no, I don't like any of this. But the more you do it, you just have to get used to it. You just have to. It's kind of like exposure therapy. You just got to keep doing it till it gets easier. And
do you watch? I mean, do you go back and watch a lot just to? I mean, I know the ones that I've done. I'm like, okay, I wish I'd have done this different or done that different.
But that's how you learn. I have to watch them all to get better.
I know some people that won't. They don't even want to see it. Don't even want to see it.
No, and I'm like, how do you grow then? I don't know.
Exactly.
I want to see what I like and what I don't.
Yeah, and what I need to do different, and that's really the only reason I would go back and watch anything that I've done. So since we're on it, I've got to the one I picked. All right, I like horror comedies.
Okay.
I like horror comedies, so I picked Attack of the 50-Foot Sphincter.
Oh no. How do you find that?
Well,
oh my gosh.
It was
so silly.
It was silly, but it was good. I love horror I mean,
oh good,
yeah. So what's your film genre? I mean, what do you enjoy? I mean, what's your go-to film genre?
I love fantasy and like historical fiction and the things that are very expensive to make. I always want to like make that stuff too, but it's the hardest thing. Sci-fi. Oh, that's so tough. But that's the stuff I love. But yeah, I love comedies and drama and all that too. This sort of like raunchy almost comedy is like not my usual thing, but it's a fun challenge as an actor.
Yeah, it wouldn't be my usual thing. I mean, because you added the word raunchy, which, I mean, it totally fits. Yeah. It totally fits. I mean, it had to be I mean, it's definitely an adult. I wouldn't recommend it for kids, but it was a fun film to watch. And I'm you know, for anyone that goes out, I mean, it's, you know, you play one of two astronauts, right? You go out and you find a jewel and tow it back to Earth, but the jewel isn't what it appears to be. And inevitably a monster comes looking for the jewel, and the monster is, of course, So the scenes where you're filming, you know, and you have to react to the monster. I mean, what was the direction they?
Oh man,
what did they say?
They were just like it was so silly, and the campiness of it made it really fun. Like we were never pretending we're in space. Like it's so clear it's a green screen and all that stuff.
Oh yeah,
that was kind of the magic of it. Like we're just gonna ham it up and like be as over the top as possible, and that was so much fun. Just a spoof, you know. So yeah, he'd be like, all right, look at, you know, this corner of the wall is gonna be where this thing is, and we all just react, and yeah, it's silly.
It was silly, but it was fun to watch. I mean, I enjoyed it. It definitely it was entertaining. I mean, you definitely, your acting is great. I mean, you come off so natural. So I mean,
thank you.
I don't know if that was before or after your epiphany, but it was very, very natural.
Oh, thank you.
I don't know who had to build the monster, but oh my gosh, I don't know. Every time I was uncomfortable each time, but it was still it was a fun movie.
The guy who makes these movies, he just loves it. Like these kind of comedies are his jam, and he lives it, and he's so happy. And I'm like, you know what? More power to you. Like people should make what sparks their joy, and I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I think it's great. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. That's why I'm in like. I saw, 50-Foot Sphincter. I'm going to watch that one. I want to see what that one's about. And I mean, I enjoyed it. It was great. So, for those who like, campy, raunchy movies, this is your film. Go out and watch it, because Katie's awesome in it. And it lives up to the name.
Yes.
It lives up to the name.
Oh my gosh.
Well, audiobooks. Witch's Cursed Cabin, Coon Hollow.
Oh yes.
Coventel. That is a fun book.
You listened to it? Oh my gosh.
I did. I'm almost done. I travel a lot for work, so I love audiobooks. And as soon as I'm like, we're gonna talk. I'm like, oh, she does audiobooks. And then I'm like,
thank you for listening. Oh my goodness.
No, it's a great book. And so Marcia Moore wrote that. Okay, and so it's the story of Aggie, a young witch who's eager to get off on her own, and a relative has this cabin that's available, that was in the family, and she moves off to go live in that cabin. And of course, there's a lot of stuff that ensues, coming to that cabin, and it's a really good story. And you audiobooks, the narration of an audiobook makes or break it. I mean, it's hugely important for the right person to have the skills in doing it, and you definitely have the right skills and nailed that.
Thank you. And not every narrator is right for each story, and that can be tough too. Like they really kind of have to have the voice of the character or the right voice of the narrator. Like it's kind of a tough balance, but
and I like. I can tell when it's a good story and the narrator's doing a good job, because when they switch between the male and the female roles, you're not like, that doesn't sound, or you don't see, a male in that or whatever. So you're just, it's believable, and you go on through it. And you definitely have. I'm curious, how did you book that? What was the process through finding that and landing that role?
Yeah. Well, when I started doing audiobooks, which was now probably like 8 years ago or something, I'd never actually listened to one because I love reading and I love visual storytelling. And so it just had never occurred to me. And I joined acx.com. It's the audiobook exchange. It's owned by Audible and Amazon.
Okay.
And I got an offer to do this one, and I was like, oh, it was called The Rocking Horse. It was my first one ever. And I'm like, I guess I'll try. I did it for like no money at all because it was just kind of a learning experience. I learned quickly that it's a lot of work because not only do you read through the whole book, but you're doing your own editing, which takes a long time, and it's really got to be perfect. But I learned so much along the way, and I learned what not to do kind of as a narrator. Like I was reading way too fast. I was kind of rushing through things. And I learned by getting feedback from people that a good narrator needs to go fast enough to keep things moving, but slow enough that you have time to visualize everything. Because when you don't have the words in front of you, like you need a little time to catch up sometimes and for the audience to just like register everything because it's a lot. And so yeah, I've learned each one I've done. I think I've learned a little bit more, and you don't want characters that sound too wacky or over the top unless it's that kind of book. But for the most part, they have to really sound like people. So, and like certainly, I'm not going to fool anyone that I'm like a 70-year-old man, but I can do my best. And as long as they know that character is speaking, like that's really what matters. So, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, what was the name of you found that through what site was that again?
ACX. And I think
ACX.
for The Witch's Cursed Cabin, I believe she reached out to me. She just thought that my voice was perfect for the character. And so she found me, which is so nice.
Yeah. As soon as you popped on tonight, I'm like, oh, it's Aggie.
Yeah. Aw. I have a very youthful voice, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Excellent. So, what's the average time? I mean, it is a lot of work, I imagine, I mean, from what I can understand. So, I mean, the first book, how long did that one take you?
Boy, let's say that an audiobook is like 10 hours long, just for example. I usually say you spend about 3 more times than that editing because for ACX, they have really strict guidelines on how things sound and audio levels. And I've gotten a lot faster at this over time. But when I started, that's about how long it took. So it was like 10 hours of recording, but then like 20 to 30 hours of editing. So it took me several weeks for sure because I'm doing it around all my other jobs, but yeah, so it's a labor of love, but it's great.
Now, do you read through the whole book once and then go back to do the recording? I'm assuming you would have to, right?
I actually don't.
Okay.
Some people do. I ask up front for pronunciations, and then if there's any special character instructions on the voice, I want to know that. But I actually learn as I go because what I find, the best narrators are surprised with the characters. Like, to me, if a narrator is living in the moment, once again, and like going with the action, that's just so much more exciting to listen to. So if I can be genuinely shocked when something's happening or scared or like excited, then it's just going to be so much more engaging, I think. So I like to just be surprised with the audience.
Okay. Yeah. So when you're switching between voices, I mean, you did a great job of keeping them straight. I mean, is that just are you rolling right through? I mean, are you not like recording certain parts and then coming back, or are you just doing it all?
No, I roll right through. But I do keep a document open that lists out each character as I meet them, and then kind of the voice I did, and I'll even put in a little snippet of a voice so that like if it's a few weeks later and I have to do that voice again, I can go listen to it quick and make sure it's consistent.
That makes a lot of sense.
That can be really confusing for sure.
Yeah, well, you kind of have to read ahead a little bit, right?
Yeah, a little bit. Mm-hmm.
So I mean, go ahead.
And there's parts where I'll go back if I'm like, oh, this was leading to something more than I realized. I'll go back and re-record, and we do that all the time. Like, or I didn't like how this part sounded or came across, and sometimes the author will tell us like, actually, I kind of want this to sound more this way. Then we'll redo it too. So there's all kinds of reasons, but. Yeah.
Well, I love that you're doing it. And I enjoyed that book. I mean, what have you got a favorite of the Audible books that you've done? What's been your favorite?
It's good. There was one called The Home that I think I really liked, because each chapter, there were 2 different main characters, and it switched between them. And so it was really fun to even change up the narrator voice a little bit to make it clear which person's brain we were in, sort of. So I really liked that challenge, for sure.
And that's the home, huh?
Yeah, but I like all of them, for sure.
Well, yeah, I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
And you know, the Witch's Cursed Cabin. I mean, to me, that felt like a little Harry Potter meets like the kind of Hocus Pocus vibe. I mean, it's a fun book. I'm definitely enjoying it, and I will finish it. I've got another trip coming up, so it's like, you know, every trip. I mean, that's where I go.
Well, thank you. Gosh.
So cosplay. I mean, holy cow! What? I mean, what's your favorite cosplay? What do you like to do most?
Oh. They're all super fun, but I love when you get to like be in character at a convention. The first cosplay I ever did was my favorite character from my favorite video game. It's called Lunar Silver Star Story, and the main character's name is Luna. And I cosplayed her the first time I ever went to a convention in high school, and people like, the people who knew this character loved her so much, and they would be like, oh, Luna, sing for us. And like, they would talk to me as if I was the character. And I was like mind blown. I was like, I didn't know conventions were like this. And it was so wonderful. And now because I love modeling, I'll like do pictures as characters, and I love trying to get their personality across in a picture. Like I did Ty Lee from Avatar, and I just really like her personality. And so trying to recreate her, I like went on a jungle gym and tried to do all this crazy stuff, and it was really fun.
Ty Lee on Avatar.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to check that one out. Is that one on your Instagram out there?
Yep. She's
okay,
so cute.
I'll have to look again. Very cool. What? So, really, are you still? I mean, are you in the anime medium, and do you get into any other cosplay? Or is it pretty much all anime?
I would say it's like half anime, half video games.
Half
kind
anime,
of anything
half
I
video
can
games.
do.
Okay. And have you ever done any of the characters you voiced?
Oh, not yet. That's one of my dreams, for sure.
It's on your bucket list, huh?
It's on my list. Yeah, I would love to do that.
Do you have one that you're thinking about, or?
I'm kind of waiting for like the right thing to come along, because there's also some characters that I just like. I'm like, I don't think I would look right as that, but I'm waiting. I feel like I'll know when the character comes along. And there's some that are really tough. Like there's one character I voiced in a video game who's like made of slime, and I'm like, I just don't know how I would do that. But it'd be fun.
You need a little VFX for that, for sure.
Yeah, right.
For sure. So I love cons. I mean, and you go not only as a participant, but as a a celebrity with the voice actor. What's the last con that you've done? You done one recently?
The only one I've been actually a guest at was Anime Dallas last year.
Okay.
And that was actually the one that sort of convinced me to move here. I was like, I loved Omaha. I had been there for 10 years, but I was starting to feel like I had kind of done everything there I wanted to do. And I was like ready for the next big adventure. And Dallas really surprised me. I was like, oh, it's so welcoming and kind, and there's such a big anime community. And so I just kind of packed up my car and moved here, and it's been awesome. I love going to conventions too. My favorite one's probably Anime Central in Chicago, because it was just my first one, so it's very special to me. But I love all of them.
Anime Central in Chicago. I've not. There's so many cons around. I love going to cons. Okay, so Anime Central in Chicago.
It's gotten so mainstream. I feel like when we were younger, it was so niche and like so under. No one knew about anime and stuff, and now it's like huge and everyone's into it. It feels like
anime is definitely huge, and that's why I'm pushing myself to learn more and watch more in that realm. I'm a sci-fi geek, as you can tell.
I can see all your Star Trek or Star Wars.
Yeah. You almost made the cardinal sin.
I know. I get banned so quick. So wait, who's your favorite Star Wars character?
My favorite. So I have so many I like. My favorite character is going to be Chewbacca, just that I like the most. Okay,
so sweet.
My favorite, the ones I like to cosplay. This guy over here, I don't know how much you can see.
Yeah.
That's my one of the kits I like to wear, the Stormtrooper. But
that's so cool.
My favorite one to wear is I have a Jawa, and I love the Jawa.
Oh, that's awesome.
And
maybe we can like throw up some pictures. I don't know.
Yeah, I'll add some in there because I want to put some of yours in there too.
Oh, yay.
for me, and I'm curious if this has happened to you on any of your costumes. So I had a friend. He wanted a costume. He went out and he found a Ruby's version. You know, the little better than what you get in the department store costume of a Jawa, and it was okay. But I'm like, we can make you one better than that.
Yeah.
And then so I made him a Jawa, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make me one too. And
that's awesome.
the first time I cosplayed, and the same experience you were talking about. I mean, people just couldn't. They didn't know what to think. They were they were freaked out. I have people that'll just stop and stare, trying to figure out if if it's real, if it's it's totally immersive. And from that moment on, I was hooked. That's the only costume that I like to wear, and I don't ever. It's all I have. I have sound glove, and I don't ever talk. So it's all through the sound glove. So
oh my gosh.
What the costumes that you've done? I mean, what have you have one that you've done? You're like, you did, and it surprised you that this was more fun than I thought it was going to be. Well,
I think the one that I've enjoyed the best is like probably the one that people will know the least, but my favorite Final Fantasy game is Final Fantasy Tactics, and there's a character I've just wanted to cosplay, Princess Ovelia, since I was like a child, and I just never even thought about it. And then a couple of years ago during COVID, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do that cosplay. Like, I don't care that it's not well known anymore. Like, I just love this character so much, and it was so special to get to make that happen. And I personally don't make my own costumes. I just don't have that skill set. But I usually get them custom made, or I'll find one somewhere. But so this one was like custom made for me, and that felt really special too. So
Princess Ovelia from Final Fantasy?
Final Fantasy Tactics, yeah.
Now Fantasy Tactics, okay. I'm going to have to check that one out too. On your Instagram. So any now that you're like, okay, this is the next one I want to do. What's your next cosplay you want to do?
I really want to do Aerith from Final Fantasy VII, especially now that the remake is out. Oh my gosh, I want to do that so bad. I also want to do Meg from Hercules. I think that'd be so fun.
Okay, Meg from Hercules. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, is that a Hercules game?
No, just like the Disney movie.
Okay, the Disney movie. Okay, the boy, that was, what year did that come out? I want to say around like 2000, somewhere around in there. It's been okay. Meg, I'm gonna have to check her out.
It's so good.
Okay, so remind me, Meg. I'm trying to picture her. I can't picture Meg. I'm gonna have to look it up. I'm gonna look it up.
Yeah, you'll have to look it up. It's the love interest,
Okay.
She's gorgeous.
All right, then you'll have someone play Hercules in as well, I'm assuming.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be good.
Yeah, it would be great to do the con as a group. That's what I love most, is that we'll get a group, and then we'll all like, okay, I'm doing this, and then I'm going to do this too, and so we'll get together for photo ops at the con. What are your favorite? I mean, do you have some favorite photo ops that you've done at cons? What groups do you like to meet up with? And I mean, are there other Final Fantasy groups?
Now that I moved, especially, I don't know like as many people around here, but I really like to work with photographers, and I actually really enjoy like finding a location that fits a character. There's such a special challenge to that, like finding a place that they would actually exist in, or looks like a place from the game or from the show. Like, that's such a cool challenge. So I really like doing that.
I love cosplay photos. I love cosplay photos. They're so much fun. We're still working on one here, a big Stormtrooper one we want to do. We want to get as many of us together as we can. We've had a couple that were a lot of fun, but we're overdue for another one. I mean, and there's so many good places around Kansas City. The Liberty Memorial was a great one, because you really got a good Coruscant feeling vibe around some places there, and then. Yeah, so I know what you mean. I love a good cosplay photo shoot.
Yeah.
All right, so I want to delve into another world that I know you're familiar with, and I have questions on Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, So you play and DM, right?
I don't DM right now, but I did for a while. Yeah,
you did
and
for
I
a while.
Play.
Okay.
I love it so much. I think every actor should try D&D, because again, there's no wrong answers. Like, you just do whatever you think your character would do. You just got to respond the way you think they would respond. And you've got to like make choices that may have consequences, but like that's just part of the game. And I think there's no wrong way to play it, and I love it so much. Yeah, it's so beautiful.
So the emphasis isn't on winning, but on having fun.
Yeah.
And so and I think it seems to me to be important to always be true to the character in the game.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm assuming it would help as actors. I've played a little, not a lot.
Yeah.
So what would you say what are the qualities of a good DM? I mean, so
Well,
you're good.
The DM is really there to make sure the players are getting what they want out of the game. And that's what we're finding the right group is so important, because it can be a not fun experience if you want something out of the game that the other people don't want. Like some groups really want to just battle and they want to make their character the strongest, best version of themselves they can be. Some people really want to role play and get into deep storytelling. Some people just want to like explore the world that the DM has created and like find treasure and that kind of thing. And all of those are perfectly valid and great. But if you want something different than the other players, it can be kind of tough. But I myself am a huge role player and really want to like dive into a character. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that part I think I would enjoy. I mean, like I said, I've played a couple times and it's a lot of fun. So the group makes a difference, and I'm sure the right DM has to make a difference.
And some people want a kind of darker story, and some people want it to be very silly. So that really can change the game too. It's tough.
Okay.
Yeah. I think there are some Star Wars role-playing games too, so that might be something to look into.
You know what? I've heard there's even My Little Pony role-playing game.
Yes, there is, and there's Avatar too. It's crazy.
It's everything. Okay, all right.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
I mean, have you found a group there in Dallas yet? I mean, are you playing at all?
I'm just starting one that's going to be online with kind of people I know all over the country, but I am looking for one in Dallas for sure. So
okay,
we'll see.
So you're doing it online, and that is what I need to check that out. So online. Now, where do you find a group online to play with?
This one, thankfully, I just happened to know someone who was like, oh, this group is starting. I think you should join it. But yeah, it's really hard otherwise because there's so many people playing that it's hard to find a group that still needs someone. So, but Reddit can be a really good place. Okay. And Discord and things like that. So. Okay, so
you're all just choosing a time and playing over Zoom.
Yep.
Or whatever platform. Very cool.
Yeah.
What are you working on currently? What are you doing? What's coming up that we want to share with everybody?
Yeah, I just finished up filming for a feature film, so that should be coming out in a couple of months whenever they're done editing. I'm working on a few. I just finished up with some Crunchyroll things. One of them came out today, I don't know when this comes out, but it came out recently.
Okay, so a feature film. Can you tell us the name of the feature?
It's called The Night Deal.
It's about
a photographer who's like trying to start up his business and like meets all these different people, and I'm like one of the models that he works with. So that should be fun. It's kind of quirky and cute. And
the night deal, and that's NIGHT. So not like Knights of Old, but
right.
Night After Dark. Okay.
Oh, that'd be awesome. I wish it was with like soldiers and knights.
I love that about you. I love that about you.
Oh man.
I love it. Do you LARP at all?
Oh, you know what? I never have. I think I did it as a kid without knowing that that's what it was. I haven't done like official LARPing, but
I want to. I want to find a group.
I played with sticks and stuff as a kid.
Same. I mean, we played in the woods from the time we got up. I mean, at least during the summertime, and we were swinging sticks.
Man, those were
building
the days.
forts. Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. Okay, so the film. So give me the title again.
The Night Deal.
The Night Deal. Now, do you know where that's going to be? Is that going to be streaming somewhere? Where is that going to be at?
I think they're going to send it to a few film festivals, and then it'll probably be streaming. That's usually kind of the process that they do, yeah. Because a lot of these film festivals are very picky about, like, they won't even accept things that are streaming somewhere. They want it to be sort of exclusive. So they usually kind of do the circuit, and then they'll release somewhere.
Okay.
And then actually, this is crazy, I'm going to be in the Texas State Fair in a puppet show. So I'm really excited about that. Anyone who's in Texas, come hang out.
So are you into puppetry?
Yeah, I do a lot of puppetry because I do a lot of children's theater. But this is a kind of puppetry I've never done. I've done like shadow puppets. I've done small hand puppets. I've done large puppets. But this is like marionettes. And that's going to be a whole new thing for me. And I'm so excited.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully that's going to be recorded. I'd love to catch some of that.
I didn't think about that. I hope so too.
So hopefully someone will set a camera up and catch some of that. I want to see. So marionettes at the Texas State Fair.
Yep.
And then there was something. Was it Crunchyroll? Is that what you said before?
Yep. I've
tell me
done
about that.
Walla. That's what they call kind of background voices.
Okay.
For a couple of shows now, so that's really exciting.
Okay. So is that like
part of why I moved to Texas was for that. So yeah.
Is that like a loop group or what is that? You said Walla.
Crunchyroll is the streaming service that dubs over a lot of Japanese anime and then like releases it. They have their own streaming service and stuff. So that's where a lot of people watch anime.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Nice. Okay.
They're really great.
So where can everyone follow you? What's your Instagram?
Yes. All of the social medias are just Katie Otten 13, and that's OTTEN. But yes, come follow me anywhere. Say hi. I would love that. Why do I like it so bright? I don't know. Okay. Oh my god.
Well, with perfect timing. I mean, because
it was like,
I love it. All right, so look for a night deal. If you're in Texas, go to the Texas State Fair, catch the marionette show. That sounds like a lot of fun. That's one of the paths I'm working on. I'm working on a build here right now. I mean, I love.
Look at that guy.
I know. He does. I don't have his arms on yet. But they're coming.
For anyone who's just listening, it's a fuzzy puppet boy, and I love him.
Exactly. Yeah, he's and that's I don't know. I don't know that you build, like you said, you buy all your own costumes, but I love to build. I love to create.
No way! I'll have to keep
I love
that in
children's
mind.
programming. I love children's programming. One of the shorts that I've created is a short. It's a Star Wars fan film, but it's for children. It's a story I wrote for my granddaughter, and we brought it to life. And then so I want to at some point develop my own IP and have some puppets and whatnot going on with that.
Oh my gosh! I need to connect you with. There's a puppet children's show that happens in Omaha that I think I need to connect you with. They're always making puppets and stuff.
Love connections.
Yeah. Oh.
That's awesome. Well, Katie, this has been so much fun. I knew I was going to have a great time getting to know you. So thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to spend this
was
this time with us.
Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. Well, have a wonderful evening and thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you. Bye bye.